Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into something really wild, the Smart Beach Project, which is essentially where cutting-edge technology meets the shoreline. We usually think of the beach as the ultimate place to just unplug and disconnect, right? But behind the scenes, there's an absolutely incredible digital transformation underway.
Think about it. What if the beach actually knew you were coming? Imagine stepping onto the sand and literally everything from your personal safety to the sustainability of the entire ecosystem is perfectly orchestrated in the background. What if the environment itself could anticipate how crowded it's going to be, predict dangerous rip currents before they form, and actively manage its own health?
So what exactly is a smart beach? Well, it's definitely not just about throwing some flashy gadgets out onto the sand. It's actually a living lab. It intricately connects the physical environment with the operations teams and the visitors in real time. We're talking about using the Internet of Things, or IoT, artificial intelligence, and renewable energy to create a highly dynamic, incredibly responsive coastal ecosystem.
Okay, here's our roadmap for today. We'll kick things off with Section 1, Welcome to the Smart Beach. Then 2, Upgrading the visitor experience. 3, Protecting the coastal environment. 4, Global Smart Beach realities. 5, Tech stack and key challenges. And finally, 6, the future of our shores. Let's jump right into Section 1, Welcome to the Smart Beach, the dawn of connected coastlines.
If you think about your traditional beach experience, it's pretty disjointed, isn't it? You've got lifeguards who can only react after an emergency is already happening, trash bins that just overflow before anyone notices, and totally siloed services. The Smart Beach completely flips that old model on its head. It moves us away from reactive, manual operations toward a proactive, predictive ecosystem. Basically, everything from the parking lot to the sunbeds is connected into one single intelligent system.
Which brings us to Section 2, Upgrading the visitor experience. Seamless, safe, and personalized. This is where it gets super cool for us as visitors. There's a whole array of core IoT sensors transforming beaches right under our noses, completely invisible to us. Every few minutes, there are water sensors actively checking for dangerous bacteria like E. coli and measuring pH levels. You've got hyperlocal weather nodes tracking the exact UV index right there on the sand. There are even solar-powered smart waste bins equipped with compactors that only alert the sanitation teams when they're genuinely full. That literally eliminates unnecessary noisy garbage trucks driving down the beach.
And because of all that invisible data constantly gathering in the background, your personal experience is massively upgraded. Just picture this. Before you even leave your hotel room, you check a live heat map on an app to find a nice, quiet zone on the beach. You get there, settle into a solar-powered smart sunbed that actually charges your phone, and if you want to learn about the local marine life, you just use augmented reality overlays right from your spot. When it's time to head home, you tap a cashless wristband for a smart-metered gray water shower. The whole thing is totally frictionless.
All right, Section 3, Protecting the coastal environment. Tech as a silent steward.
Now, this isn't just about grabbing a better sunbed. Beyond luxury, the technology acts as a silent steward for nature, which is honestly its most critical job. Specific ecological threats are getting matched with targeted tech solutions. To fight coastal erosion, they're burying GPS probes right in the sand. Those probes feed data into digital simulations to tell authorities exactly where they need to plant natural dune vegetation. We've got spectrometry sensors hunting for microplastics in the water, and underwater IoT modules constantly measuring temperature and acidity to catch coral bleaching before it's too late. Machine learning is even predicting where trash will wash up so crews can clean it preemptively.
Moving on to Section 4, Global Smart Beach Realities, from the Mediterranean to the Pacific.
Now you might be thinking this all sounds like science fiction, but it's really not. Let's hop around the globe and see this in action. Over in Nice, France, it's all about blending modern comfort with their historic Promenade des Anglais. They have a fully equipped section using environmental sensors and a dedicated app that shows visitors real-time UV levels, air quality, and even helps them hunt down available sun loungers.
Meanwhile, down at Bondi Beach in Australia, the focus is hardcore safety. Computer vision and autonomous drones are out there literally saving lives. These drones fly daily patrols, using AI pattern recognition to spot sharks and hidden rip currents from the sky. They instantly alert the lifeguards on duty, and amazingly, they even trigger an automated public Twitter bot to warn people, which drastically slashes emergency response times.
over in Singapore, Sentosa Island shows us the sheer power of a centralized data dashboard. They rely on a massive, multi-sensory network to monitor everything from erosion to water quality. All that data streams straight into a central hub, which lets their operations teams dynamically adapt. They can shift lifeguard deployments or cleaning schedules to the exact spots they're needed most at any given moment.
And I absolutely love this one. In Los Cabos, Mexico, technology is ensuring the shoreline is totally inclusive. Their Blue Flag certified beaches have some amazing smart accessibility features. You can book amphibious wheelchairs with a quick QR code scan. They've also installed tactile pathways and audio beacons that physically guide visually impaired swimmers safely down to the water. It's brilliant.
Let's look at Section 5, Tech Stack and Key Challenges. Under the hood of the shoreline.
So how does a grain of sand actually talk to your smartphone? It's basically a 5-layer stack. It starts at the perception layer. That's your physical sensors taking measurements right there in the sand. That data zips up through the network layer using 5G or low-power, long-range networks called LoRaWAN. Next, it hits the edge layer, which are essentially local servers sitting right inside the lifeguard tower to process safety analytics with zero lag. Then, the platform layer gathers it all into the cloud to manage digital twins, which are live virtual replicas of the beach. Finally, it reaches the application layer, which is the app right in your hand.
But here's the kicker. To make any of this work, the hardware needs a ruggedness rating of IP68. The marine environment is absolutely brutal. Salt spray, superfine sand, and intense UV rays will destroy unprotected tech in a heartbeat. So every single sensor and camera has to be heavily ruggedized just to survive out there.
And surviving the elements isn't the only hurdle. Securing the high initial investment requires a really clear ROI. Plus, you have to balance all this cutting-edge surveillance with strict privacy laws. That's why beaches often rely on thermal or LiDAR tracking. It completely anonymizes the people it's monitoring. We also have to bridge the digital divide by keeping analog fallbacks like physical signs so nobody gets left out. And of course, these systems often need to run off-grid via solar power, all while trying to integrate this shiny new IoT tech into clunky legacy municipal IT systems.
Which leads us to our final section, number 6, the future of our shores, autonomous, personalized, and regenerative.
Looking ahead, the innovations on the horizon are just mind-blowing. We are rapidly moving toward infrastructure that is truly regenerative. Pretty soon, we'll see researchers using biodegradable IoT sensors made out of seaweed. Once they're done, they just dissolve safely into the ocean. Boom, zero e-waste. AI lifeguards will be able to deploy robotic rescue buoys in seconds, reaching a swimmer before a human could even hit the water. And maybe most incredibly, we'll see sand printing drones that don't just track erosion, but actively rebuild the coastal dunes themselves. The beach will literally maintain its own ecosystem.
I think this quote sums it up perfectly. It's not just about adding gadgets to the sand. It's about using technology as a silent, efficient steward that balances human enjoyment with ecological preservation. The goal isn't just technology for the sake of technology. It's about balance. When we do this right, a smart beach becomes safer, much cleaner, far more inclusive, and vastly more resilient to climate change.
So, the real question is, are you ready to step onto a shoreline that actually listens, thinks, and responds to your every need? Keep that in mind the next time you pack your beach bag. Every single wave and grain of sand is becoming part of a smarter, deeply connected world. The future of leisure isn't just about catching some rays. It's intelligent, responsive, and deeply sustainable.
Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. I hope you found this deep dive into the Smart Beach project as fascinating as I did. And for more, visit our website, Fair Solution. See you next time.